Welcome to Nurburgring for round 5 of the season. It's been an unpredictable weekend from the very start. Conditions have shifted almost hour by hour. Yesterday's practice session was cut short after a sudden downpour flooded parts of the circuit. And now qualifying is taking place in the rain. The track is tricky, grip is inconsistent, and every driver will have to gamble a bit with timing and tire choice. But there's a twist. Forecasts suggest the rain may ease off right at the end of the session, which could open a tiny window for anyone brave enough to risk it. And with more rain expected for tomorrow's race, every position earned today might become crucial. Get ready. This qualifying session could get chaotic. Now, the championship leader at our screens with 63 points gap ahead to the second place in championship. Will he dominate round 5 of BMW M2 CS CUP like he did in previous rounds? Since its first rainy round of the season, let's talk about tires. We have dry and wet tires, with no intermediates, just like in GT World Challenge. Why is it so important? Drivers have to use dry tires until the track reaches wet optimum. Otherwise, they waste lots of time. Less than 3 minutes to the end of the qualifying session. Just 3 drivers are currently on the track as the rain stopped and track is drying out slowly. What I can see from commentator studio is that many drivers, including James Rood, Griffin, and Shrey, are getting their cars prepared for final push lap. This qualifying session is just getting started. Griffin has just 10 seconds to begin his push lap. He is currently right before pit entry, and he may cross the line just in time to start the lap. But Shrey and Rood are way too far to begin their laps. Time's up. Griffin will not begin his push lap. Strymer claims pole position, Catania is second, and Block finishes third, and James Rood is 8th. Strymer leads the BMW M2 CS CUP towards the start line. For the first time this weekend, session begins at the dry track and no rain is expected for race 1. Race 1 is underway. Good start from front row, but who's going to lead after turn 1? Drag race towards turn 1 and Strymer keeps P1, while Block overtakes Catania for P2. For now, it seems to be clean start from everyone with no drama. Strymer controls the pack through next corners. Let's take a look at the start replay. Two cars picking up some grass on the inside, and Griffin looking for a spot to overtake, but no spins or collisions. Small door-to-door contacts, and now side by side in the second half of the pack. Good and clean racing through Sector 1. Griffin and Schumacher assess, but he catches the car and continues the race. Very deep into turn one for Griffin, as he cannot stop his car. Great opportunity for his rivals to get the places back. After making his BMW as wide as possible to defend his place, now towards second heaviest braking at the Nurburgring GP circuit. And he cannot stop his car once again.
The brake pedal goes to the floor when braking hard. Brakes are almost dead. Copy. Try to bring it home.
Griffin confirms that he's having brakes problems. He can forget about chase for points in race one. Towards turn one, Griffin on the inside choosing defensive line. He keeps his place, but now side by side through Mercedes Arena. Still side by side, and now Griffin has to give up his place. AOA racing driver, Christian Walsh, completely without pace, and he drops from P28 to P30 in just 2 corners. Leading from start to finish, Strymer wins race 1 at the Nurburgring. Rain arrived on the track just 10 minutes ago. The track is slightly wet, and drivers on slick tires. More rain is expected, meaning we're in for an incredible spectacle. Race begins. Great start from Catania, and he's very close to Strymer. Strymer leads after turn 1. Catania and Block keep their places. Leader continues his domination from race 1 and now starts building the gap. Now let's watch start replay from helicopter camera. Griffin moves to the outside and tries to squeeze through the grid. Collision between 2 cars and Griffin almost gets collected. What a quick reaction time from the rookie. Now, he makes a dive into turn 4. Side by side, everything clean, and sprint towards turn 6. Griffin on the right side of the track, he's going to try to overtake around the outside. Almost contacted the apex, and Griffin gains another place. Incredible exit from Ford curve, and Griffin immediately finds himself at the back of another 2 cars. And he literally drives through like they're traffic. Incredible pace from young driver. lost it during the overtake in turn 6. Despite that slide, he still managed to get that amazing launch and overtake another 2 drivers. Change setup from Darkline Racing Team, and look at the pace that car has. Braking point and final chicane for Griffin. Now we can see that some drivers go to the pit lane to get wet tires. In my opinion, it's too early as we don't have intermediate tires. James Rood goes to the pit as well. Huge gumble from championship leader. Will he benefit or lose from that decision? Griffin now in the slipstream, and he's getting closer and closer. They're going towards first corner, and Griffin goes for it. He makes a late dive, and they're side by side now. Rain is much more intensive now, and they're both on slick tires. Griffin goes onto green paint, and he loses the car. He hits Heinemann. They're both able to continue, but Griffin is definitely having damage. Griffin doesn't give up, and he tries to overtake in turn 4, but he cannot make a pass there. Pole Sector 2, a fight between Griffin and Heinemann, with many switchbacks and amazing racing. And now, he makes a move on the inside, pushing his rival a bit wide, but within rules. What an incredible fight it was. Earlier, James Rood, now Kajaiha, leaves pit lane after bad decision to switch for wet tires. Now on dry ones, but he's lap behind now. He has to be very careful because there's fight between many cars right behind him. He moves to the very inside, and one driver gets stuck behind him. now Griffin against Owega. Side by side, but there's another lapped car ahead of them. Griffin has nowhere to go and he has a big slide, almost slides into the back of lapped car.
Box this lap, box this lap. Wet tires are almost as quick as dry ones, but they have more grip. Box this lap.
Another problem for Griffin. The track is very wet now, and his tires are worn and doesn't have as much grip as earlier. He goes off track and drifts into the final corner. He also ignores team order. Is that rookie's arrogance or confidence?
Box this lap. It's boss's order. Box this lap. Waiting for you to confirm. Confirm now.
Disagree. It's teamwork.
Griffin disconnects the radio. The atmosphere is heated. But who's right in that argument? James Rood, the championship leader, pitted earlier for wets, and then had to pit again for slicks, dropping down to P24 and being lap behind now. So maybe Griffin is right. We're going to get the answer at the end of the race. Another place gained by Griffin. He's absolutely flying, and fastest lap of the race he set confirms it. Pole position. Win in race 1, win in race 2. Streamer dominates on German soil and scores maximum amount of points in round 5. Getting closer to James Rood in title fight with just 3 rounds to go. Streimer finishes first. Catania is second. Block finishes third. Off the podium, we can find Owega and Griffin, who finishes 5th after P19 start. Now, championship standings. Streimer reduces the gap from 85 points to 53 points. What's more interesting, P3 to P13 is separated by just 16 points, what means that fight is not going to end before season finale.